Okay, today we're going to do a quick tutorial over how to find equivalent fractions in a new way that we've learned. We've looked at equivalent fractions in the past by drawing models or number lines and finding how they are on the same point on the number line or they take up the same amount of space in the whole. They're equal fractions. And we've now learned a new way. One of the things that we know is that if we multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, we'll always end up with an equivalent fraction, as long as we do the same for both. So let's look at 1/2 and let's make some equivalent fractions. I can multiply both the top and the bottom times 2, so let's try that. Remember, what you do to the numerator, you must do to the denominator as well. 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So I know that 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions. I could even try to find more equivalent fractions. I could multiply the numerator and the denominator by 5. I could do 2 times 5 is 10, and 4 times 5 is 20. So I know that 1/2, 2/4, and 10/20 are all equivalent, and I could continue on. Let's try another fraction, 3/5. This time I'll multiply both by 6, and I get 18/30. So basically I can use any factor that I want. As long as I use the same for the numerator and the denominator, I will end up with an equivalent fraction. Of course, when I'm multiplying, I'm going to get larger numbers. So let's look at this fraction, 3/18. It's not in its simplest form. It doesn't have the most simple numbers, but I can find an equivalent fraction in even the most simple form by dividing. Remember, I must use the same divisor by the numerator as well as the denominator. And I look at 3 and 18 and I think about what I can divide both of those numbers by, and I know I can divide them both by 3 because I know my facts. So I'm going to do the numerator and the denominator divided by 3. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I know that 1/6 is equivalent to 3/18. I also know, because I cannot divide 1 and 6 by anything other than themselves or 1, that it's in its most simple form. So I can't simplify it any further. Now I can find other equivalent fractions by multiplying and making larger fractions, but 1/6 is its simplest form. Let's try one last one. Here I see 16/24. I know those are both even numbers, so they have to both be divisible by 2. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to divide them both by 2. 16 divided by 2 gives me 8, and 24 divided by 2 gives me 12. I'm looking at 8/12, and it doesn't seem like it's in its simplest form, because I know that both of those numbers could be divided by other numbers besides themselves or 1. I think this time I'm going to try dividing by 4, because I know 4 can go into 8 and it can also go into 12. Let's see if that helps. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. I now have another equivalent fraction, 2/3, and this time it's in its simplest form because I can't divide 2 and 3 by any number the same way. So I now have the fraction in the most simple form, and I have equivalent fractions. So there is your mini review of what we've learned in class. If you need any practice problems, just email me and I will send them to you. Bye.